Welcome to MediaScience Myth Busting. I'm Philip Lomax, joined by the world famous Dr. Dwayne Varan. This month we're going to be challenging industry conventions and using science and data to myth bust them. Dwayne, what do we have in store?
Oh my gosh, it's going to be such an exciting month. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking conventions, long assumptions that have been held in the industry, and we're going to challenge them. And we're going to show you best-in-class data that demonstrates why some of those conventions actually are not merited. Sometimes people are going to feel good, a lot of times they're going to feel very uncomfortable. It's going to be an exciting month.
And Dwayne, why is MediaScience uniquely positioned to be able to have this conversation with our industry?
So MediaScience is an interesting beast in a way, right? You know, one of the problems that we have as an industry is that when you see research, it's always good news. Like you always see good news research on stage. And the reason for that is because, you know, the publishers, the brands, the agencies who fund the research, obviously they're going to only show you the slides and tell you the story that's actually good for their products, right? There probably was some findings in that data set that were not favorable, but you never see that. What's interesting about MediaScience is we collaborate a lot with academia. In fact, to date, we have contributed over $2 million in research grants to universities.
Wow.
That's a lot more than organizations that have like $2 billion in revenue per year and that have over 1,000 employees. I mean, we're doing a bigger lift than even a lot of those organizations are doing. On top of that, we do significant in-kind contributions. We make our infrastructure available. You know, one of the problems for academia is they often don't have very good equipment. And so we make our tools available. You know, we have the best labs in the industry. And so we make a lot of that available to academics and we collaborate with them in that way as well. And then we do a lot of independent research ourselves. These are studies that are not funded by clients, studies where we explore a convention to try to understand how it works a little bit better. That helps us in terms of our ability to improve our designs for other studies. But what it means is that we can test conventions. And then finally, we have amazing, incredible clients, many of whom are in the truth business and who allow us to share some of the findings where, you know, the news is not necessarily favorable. So there's a lot that we do to act as a little bit of a bridge between academia and industry.
And not only are we a bridge between industry and academia, working with brands, agencies, publishers, and platforms, but we also publish a lot of research ourselves.
That's true.
In fact, Dr. Dwayne Varan is ranked 7th globally for his volume of academic journal publications, and he's tied for 7th with Professor Byron Sharp of the Ehrenberg Bass Institute of Marketing Science.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Dwayne, why don't you give a sneak peek of what we have in store for our audience this month?
So there's a lot that's really exciting. As I say, sometimes it's going to feel really good, like we're going to talk about a study that, actually a whole series of studies that we've done that have explored the convention that says that if you're an advertiser, you should not buy news. You shouldn't place your ad in news. Why? News is a negative environment. You don't want to be in a negative environment. We're going to show you how that convention is wrong. In fact, our data shows that if you're in the news environment, you're probably getting a superior environment. Your ad is probably going to overperform, not underperform. So that's going to be a great example of a feel-good study. If you're a publisher, of course, then that's going to be really good news. We're also going to, though, sometimes really make you uncomfortable. For example, we're going to show and demonstrate how a lot of the conventions around the holy grail of advertising, addressability, category-based addressability, you know, delivering dog food ads to dog owners. Right, we're going to show you how a lot of the assumptions that go into that paradigm are fundamentally misguided and how the types of effects that you see with that addressability are nowhere near the level that people would assume they would be. So sometimes we're going to make you feel good, sometimes we're going to make you feel very uncomfortable.
Well, regardless of how you feel, we're excited to bring you MediaScience myth busting throughout this month. Please join us. I'm Philip Lomax, this is Dr. Dwayne Varan, and thank you, our audience.